Bezrat Hashem, welcome to Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. If you want to have Shalom Bayit, send your husbands to Yeshiva to learn. And this is our Yeshiva here in Hollywood, Florida. Bezrat Hashem, Yeshivat Shalom Bayit. One of the educators is me. And Bezrat Hashem, hopefully we're going to see you here, send your husbands. As we said something yesterday, very important, we are continuing Siman Yud, Halacha Hey. We just want to quickly recap. Because we just ended off on a very fast note yesterday morning, because of Baruch Hashem, the pressure of starting the tefillah. But we said when you had a garment with three corners, yesterday the halacha said that if you have a garment with three corners and then you put on tzitzit on it, you put the strings on it according to halacha, right? We all know how to do tzitzit. We'll discuss it soon. Bezrat Hashem, if you don't know, so be patient. And so the rabbi says over there, you had three corners and you put up tzitzit already, meaning you attach the strings to it. Really, lihatchila, the string, it was not kosher, right? It's only three corners. It's supposed to have four corners. So on Shabbat, if you would go out with these three corners, as Aaron mentioned yesterday, you would be mechalel Shabbat. You're carrying on Shabbat the strings, because there's no purpose for you. It's not kosher. It's not part of anything. So over there in that instance, now what the guys did, Maran said that he cut out the corner in this baguette, and now it became four corners. The question is, what happens? Is it kosher or not kosher? So the Maran says it's pasul. This is not good. You have to take it apart. All three strings, you have to take it apart, and then you have to rebuild all four strings together, as you're building, not together, as you're building one by one, right? But that's what I mean. So, so the rabbi said it's called something very important, halacha, and Shulchan Aruch is going to be all with every aspect where there is a constructive, that we're doing something, that we're commanded to perform an act with an item of this world, like us building sukkah, the tzitzit, or the many other aspects of that will actually we will be forced or be commanded by a Torah to go and perform it. It's going to be a deen of hataseh, right? It has to, the halacha says you have to do, and not from which was already done. V'lo min ha'asui. So like in this instance, you had three corners. You put on tzitzit on it. It was not kosher, and now you added the fourth corner. So kiviyachol, now the item became obligated to have tzitzit. So what you did is that you just added the fourth tzitzit. So really, it's already the tzitziyot were there, so it's already done. All you did is it's just you made it kosher. In the fourth corner, now it's called minasui, meaning you performed the mitzvah from something that was already partially done, and that's not kosher. The Torah tells you in the Maran, again, you're going to be many times. We're going to be strict. We're going to be hitting this point that you have to create something and not from already created. Like for instance, this is the famous machloket between Sfaradim and Rav Ovadia. Again, big machloket between Rav Ovadia Yosef and Sfaradim. The Jews from Iraq, Bukhara, Parsi, Persians, Moroccans. Some already also have the machloket with Rav Ovadia Yosef. What was the machloket? And this is the Ashkenazic minhag. But again, according to Kabbalah, this is according to Kabbalah that we're Sfaradim, Noheg, Bukharians especially, Moroccan, Iraqi, Moroccan, that they light candles on Shabbat, and then when they put down the match, and then they make a bracha. Okay? So Rav Ovadia is screaming on us, and he's telling us, what kind of Jews are you? What is this? The Torah says you have to go and light the candles, and so you have to make a bracha, another din, over ala siyatan. You have to make a bracha and then perform an act. Like when you eat an apple, you don't bite an apple and then say borei pri ha'etz. You say borei pri ha'etz and then you bite into the apple, right? So same thing we have in these candles. We have a custom that we light the candles and then we make a bracha. According to Kabbalah, whatever there is, that's the custom of Bukharians, Persians, Moroccans, Iraqis. That was the prevalent custom. Rav Ovadia Yosef will go with Maran and he'll say, no, you have to light the candles, meaning you have to perform, so you have to say the bracha and then you light the candles. Okay? Same thing, like tefillin, you put on the tefillin, that's it. But for whatever reason is, I have zero idea why. That's our custom, we light the candles and then we make a bracha. It has zero to do with Ashkenazi style. The reason why Ashkenazim do it is because by them, ladies accept the Shabbat by lighting the candles.
No, the Netilat Yadayim is apur, it's not the din. Because the finish of the netilah is the
No, and bracha, by the way, netilat yadayim bracha is not washing hands.
It's the drying of the hands.
No, it's raising the hands.
yes, right.
Netilat does not mean washing. Netilat yadayim, you notel, you're raising your hands. Now, and there's a connotation that when you raise your hand, meaning not just raising, again, everything we do physically in this world, it has a connotation spirituality. Right? I am saying a beautiful thing. So how come I wash my hands and then I make a bracha? If over al siyatan, maybe you should make a bracha and then wash your hands. You can't. First of all, the whole concept of washing hands, and that's what the bracha is. Al netilat yadayim. You elevate your hands, and that's why we actually point. Right, if we're making on the netilat yadayim in the morning or Birkat Hamazon or Bechamotze, you put it right in front of your face to show that you are actually raising, even though physically you're raising your hands, but it's not talking about physically. The bracha has zero to do with physicality. The bracha is spiritually. Al netilat yadayim. So again, meaning if a person doesn't want to raise his hand, he says al netilat yadayim. Of course he could say al netilat yadayim. Let's say somebody washes his hand and he doesn't raise his hand. Ashkenazim don't. They do like this. Many people do make al netilat yadayim like this, right? Or Shanaim have even worse minhag. Then what they do? They wipe their hands. Completely wipe the hand, and only then they make a bracha, which is a big problem. We'll see that there's going to be a problem later. According to Halacha, you're not supposed to wipe your hands.
Wipe is dry.
Wipe is dry.
Yeah, you don't dry your hands. You're supposed to make it when it's wet. And more than that, it's for him, right? If you dried your hands before you made a bracha, make it wet again, not 6 times. Just make it a little bit wet. So now you're making bracha as appropriately. So again, you see over there that Ram just interjected it. But again, we're in this concept of performing the mitzvah, so you have to make a bracha before you perform the mitzvah. Same too, the talit. You cannot have talit that had a 3-corner garment. You install the talit tzitziot, and then you just added a 4th garment. Now it's a problem. All those 3 other tzitziot, you have to take them off and rebuild it. It's called taseh. You must do the mitzvah with an item that is obligated the mitzvah. Till now, this item had 3 corners. This beged, this cloth, and only had 3 corners, not 4 corners. So it was patur from tzitzit. So you have to take off the tzitzit, and then you do it. Very famous. Everybody knows the famous story. Very famous joke. A guy brings his tzitzit gadol and tzitzit katan to the dry cleaner, like 5 tzitzit katan, and 1 tzitzit gadol to do laundry. And he gets back beautiful, clean clothing, and also the Chinese did him a big favor. They took off all the tzitzit.
I remove all the strings. Yeah.
They removed all the strings. They thought it was tangled. They said it was all tangled, so they fixed it up and they made him a beautiful tzitzit, like tie, mamash. They made him a big. You know about this joke? You didn't know about this? This is a very famous thing. That was the beginning before Chinese knew what does dry cleaning on the tzitzit mean. What do you do with that? All right, Hashem Alachem Aleinu. Wow.
Yeah, the point is when you put the tzion l'shem mitzvah need to do. And
right.
And mitzvah.
No, he's lucky. He should be thankful that the Chinese guy didn't copy what he had and then put it back. Imagine that.
Oh,
Yeah. The Chinese guy, because they want to do you a favor, right? He would have. He's a lucky guy. He would have taken off the tzitzit and then put back the tzitzit after laundry. That would be the problem.
Yeah, because it's a goy.
The whole thing. So the goy is not allowed to make.
Mitzvah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Vav. We didn't get there yet, but Mr. is going to mention it. Vav, הלכה vav in Siman Yud. אין כופלין את הטלית ומטילים הציצית על הכנפיה כמו שהיא כפולה. אין כופלין את הטלית, right? So what is he talking about? That you cannot like double fold it, right?
Look like Ben.
And then, what?
Fold, no?
Oh yeah, ומטילים ציצית על כנפיה כמו שהיא כפולה. So Mistama is talking about that אבל צריך להטילה בארבע כנפיה. הפשוטים. So what happened was, in olden days, they sold garments. They prepared the garment and then they would sew it for you to keep it fresh. So when you buy a garment here, Rafal, when you buy a garment, then you cut it to the attached parts. You cut it and then you get it back to the original garment. Meaning, the clothes, let's say shirts.
You mean they used to wear those long?
Not I'm not talking about what they used to wear. the shirts were never. It was one piece. The shirts were prepared, and then somehow they attached it back together. I guess for preservation purposes. Okay. But items were not like this. So what do we do today? What do they do to us? Today they do us a favor, right? They put some kind of needles and they hold the shirt together like packed, vacuum packed, whatever it is. So in the olden days, somehow, I don't know, I never saw it, but that's what I was told, that each shirt came in when it's vacuum packed. It was more than vacuum packed. It was actually sewn in together. After it was prepared, they would sew it in together, so somehow it shouldn't get ruined. So the Halacha in Gemara on Shabbat, it was sewn in together. After it was prepared, it was sewn in together so it doesn't lose, and somehow it preserves the item. So when you receive the item, today we have, like I would say 20 years ago, till then it's already plastic holds altogether, right? So 20 years ago, I remember the shirts used to come in with big needles.
Right.
Okay. To hold it together. Yes. In olden days, they didn't have needles to hold it together, they actually sewn it. And on Shabbat, potech bet tzavar, that's what it means.
Rega. The jackets, even today
they have sewn
jackets. It's called with it's sewed.
Yeah, look at this. You came up in this jacket. You see, I just got the suit for Shana.
You see?
It's still sealed, right?
You need to remove it. Yeah.
And that's how it used to be, everything.
That's the example.
So that's called preservation. First of all, why they put this? This time they don't want mold to go in there.
No, the point is they do like that because they need to planchar.
Ironing. Okay.
And for ironing, if this is the cover is not attached, maybe the ironing gonna do.
I don't think so. I think also maybe that also, but it could be also for damage. Remember, you want to preserve it. You want to preserve it. You don't want anything to go in there or whatever. But
no, but the point is, if you ironing bend it, that's it. You lose the item. I tell you because my father do that.
Oh, good.
And we ironing it.
So you see, that's the reason. I always thought it was for preservation from a moth or something like that.
It's basically for a preservation because when they do the ironing with the big machines, if this part is bended, it's gone forever. Like that. You cannot turn it back.
See, now we have over here somebody who's working in suits. Anyway, so now the question is, they had tzitzit, they prepared the tzitzit, and then they would sew it, and they would sell it in the market. Then you would buy it. You would open up the beit tzavar, you would open up all the holes, all the things that are, those threads. So the question is, when it's not kosher state, meaning when it's sewn together, it's not kosher. So you have
because it doesn't have the four corners.
No, it has four corners, but it's not a real baguette. It's not open.
It's
not open yet all the way that it requires to sit. So he says, when it's kaper, when it's all folded nicely, and now you don't want to open it yet, you start making tzitzit. Rabbi says, no such a thing, you're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to open it, אבל צריך להתיר בארבע כנפיה הפשוטים. You could only put on the tzitzit, and Rabbi Hagal says, when the whole thing is opened up, everything is nitpazer, only then you could put on tzitzit. אלא אם כן תפרה כולה, okay? ואפילו מרוח האחד, okay? So he says that it has to be all opened up, or meaning it's loose. יש אומרים דחייבים אפילו בלא תפירה. וטוב לעשות לה ציצית, אבל לא לברך עליה. Now, even that case where I guess somebody did it, that will not require a bracha, and you cannot make a bracha on this kind of tzitzit. So I guess that you have to prepare it properly. הטיל ציצית על ציצית, אם נתכוון לבטל הראשונה, חותך הראשונה הוא כשרה. Okay, so he has like this. What happened was, you have a baguette with four corners, and you have already tzitzit strings. And now, you don't like the tzitzit strings, they're worn out. Right? So you add, in the same hole, here's the tzitzit, right? So we have usually on one corner, right? So now what he does, he decided to make a new one on this side, and then he's going to cut off this side. Mm-hmm. So now Kiviyachol is adding a fifth, what's his name? Fifth part into the tzitzit. So he says, so what happened was, if your whole intention was, I'm preparing the fourth one really to substitute the current one. If your kavanah is to substitute the current one, you're going to cut off the current one, the old one there, no problem. Then it's kosher, right?
All the point is you cannot. The point is avoid to remove the bad one, because if you remove the bad one and you put the new one.
I tell you what's going on.
Okay.
I'll give you a scenario.
Okay.
A person is a tzaddik. He doesn't want a millisecond to go without tzitzit. According to Ben Ish Chai, it's a chova Deoraita kimat. He's bringing over there rayot al gabe rayot. You cannot take off tzitzit at night. There is no such a thing. According to Ben Ish Chai, yes. In the Sefer over there, he brings down that every person must wear tzitzit every second of his life. So this guy is a meticulous. He only takes off the tzitzit in the shower. Right now he's not showering, right? But he has a problem. The string's worn out. So what does he do? He doesn't want to be without tzitzit. He has only one pair. So as he's wearing the tzitzit, he is adding. Now he's replacing the strings.
What if a person's with
1 second. He's replacing the string. So the rabbi says, the Moran says, if his intention is to remove the string that's bad,
It's okay.
and he's adding a fifth string, right? While he's wearing it, that's it. He doesn't want to take it off.
Because after I added the fifth one, I'm going to put it the fourth.
The first one, and then I don't have a millisecond without kosher to sit. I'm talking about a very meticulous person. So then, if that's his intention to take off the old one, no problem. We allow it to him, he says. But, however, but if a person is doing it because he wants to be a tzaddik, he wants to say, look at this, you guys are only wearing four string, I'm going to have 8 strings because I'm a more holier person. For every corner, maybe, here's a tzitzit. So he put in himself some kind of mind. He says, why only on this side? Maybe this side maybe it has to be on this side also. Right? So you're going to have strings on this side and that string, on this side, and this side. So it's going to be 8 tzitziyot. But he's going to say, I don't know which corner is kosher. Maybe the east, maybe the guy is, sometimes we have Enam Haaretz Chassid, you have a person who doesn't learn Torah, he's going to try to make the best out of everything, and in the end, he's making Averot left and right. Right? Because he thinks it's right. He thinks he knows, like we say, like we're pushing over here. Somebody asked me, why are you doing Abad Chesed? This is what we have to learn an hour a day about? Yes, Abad Chesed, you have to learn. Usually people learn 15, 20 minutes. But again, right now, we want to instill this whole thing about Abad Chesed. You have to learn things. Because we think we're doing mitzvot, and in the end we're doing Averot, as we're learning. There's so many chidushim we learn at night. He did a chesed, he did a chesed. And ask a person, I'm doing chesed all day. You're doing chesed, doing Averot, left and right. He thinks he's doing chesed because he doesn't know. Same thing here. The guy says, he decided in his mind he has to have tzitzit on every corner. Put one here, put one there. Maybe he should put one in the middle this way also. Now he's going to have 12 tzitziyot, right? Instead of 8. Yeah, the guy, some people are majnunim. That's not allowed. אוקיי, בסדר. ויש מכשירים בכל עניין, וכן עיקר, וקודם שחתך, הראשונות פסו בכל עניין. However, we hold, says Rama, that he is not allowed to wear when he's trying to avoid this concept of being without a sitter for a second, but when he adds that fifth string, before he cuts off the fourth string, it's asur for him to wear it. So he's going to have to stop being a big chassid, take off the tzitzit, fix it properly, and then put it on. Yeah. Not allowed to wear it, but it's pasul. Finished. We know that it's only supposed to have 4 strings, not 5 strings. Halacha zayin, מלבושים שהם פתוחים מן הצדדים למטה, ויש להם 4 כנפות לצד מטה ולמעלה, הם סתומים. אם רובו סתום פתוח, אם רובו פתוח חייב. Here, what do we have in our jackets? You ever wonder about your jackets? How many corners do our jackets have?
4.
Actually 6.
6?
Yeah.
Those ones too?
Yeah. First of all, just because the corner is round off, it's not 100% papatur from tzitzit. Right? Then what we have here, look at this. We have 6 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. This case, yes.
Why don't you have tzitzit?
Because it's not large enough, no? The back?
That's right. That's what we're talking about now. Rubo patur. So it has to be opened. It has to be mostly opened. So really that doesn't consider to be corners because it's not. So basically, in this jacket, it's 2 corners. This is the corner and that corner.
Yeah, because this is open until the top, yeah.
Right, but in the back over there, it's all closed up and it's not too far from each other. So it's really not corners. חציו סתום וחציו פתוח, מטלית אותו, מטלית אותו לחורבה וחייב בצצת. So again, it also depends on when it's more than half open or not. Then you can put tzitzit ve'en yotzin bo b'Shabbat. However, in that category, if it's not 100% kosher, you cannot wear such a tzitzit on Shabbat. Chet. פתוחה בעניין שיש לה 4 כנפות. So something, kappa. What's kappa? I don't know. It's some kind of cloth in those days.
Kappa is basically the Superman one.
Kapata? That's what I mean?
No? Maybe.
Kappa is the one to wear like that and go Superman. You know Superman? They have that-
Cape?
the
Cape, you want to say?
That's it.
Kappa, that's what you think? Cape? That's Kappa means cape. You know better than me, I don't know. Where's Chaf over here? Chaf.
Yes, arba kanfot because it's like in a square, but you put it under your neck.
שהיא פתוחה בעניין שיש לה 4 כנפות. אם יקבעו בה השתניה לעשותה כסתומה כדי לפטרה בציצית, אינו מועיל תיקון זה אם לא תהיה קבועה מחצי ארכו, מטה לכל הפחות, גם תהיה קבועה למטה מהחגורה. So again, this cape that you're saying, it's like a talit
It have
gadol.
4 corners, but the 2 corners on the top you attach it to here,
Right,
and it's only 2 corners at the bottom.
but what's on top then? There's no corners?
In the top is corners, but it's over here,
It's like, so...
and they need to be the corners at the bottom. He says, no.
No, why? Talit gadol does not have corners at the bottom.
Betach, talit
Talit
katan.
gadol is not corners at the bottom. Talit gadol is like a cape, no?
Yeah.
But so what you're saying is probably that the tzavar, over there, it's okay. That's what it is. So he says, kappa שהיא פתוחה בעניין שיש לה 4 כנפות, אם יקבעו באשטרינגה לעשותה כסתומה כדי לפוטרה מציצית, אינו מועיל תיקון זה אם לא תהיה קבועה מחצי האורכה. So it has to be that the cape, let's say even, that it has to be in the design that it's not open on 4 corners at all times. So basically, it's some kind of.
So that is like a hooks. Have like a hooks, and
Right.
you attach the hook. When
So
you
then it's
attach
not
the hooks,
cornered.
it's disappear the 2 corners.
It's not really 2 corners,
Yeah.
because that's what it is. Then it's פטור. ומטה לכל הפחות. וגם שתהיה קבועה למטה מהגאור. למען תהיה הרוב סתום רוב הנראה לעיניים. So he says also in the bottom it's like some kind of belt. So it's like a rope. So kappa, it's like some kind of rope that the people wear. That basically it's not really like a talit gadol, but it's not what's his name. And it looks like 4 corners, but it's really not. Like Aaron is explaining.
That's a good example.
Okay, so then and nevertheless it has to be designed in a certain way that it doesn't look like the like talit gadol. Oh wow. So therefore the rabbi says that even then you're supposed to be very careful not to wear such a thing. Even the rope, as long as it really looks like a rope. If it looks like a cape, like Aaron is describing, like a Superman cape, that will not require talit gadol, tzitziyot on it, because it's not really 4 corners separated. Okay, we're going to stop over here. We're going to start hopefully on Sunday. Siman Yud Halacha Tet.
Ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. Chazak u'baruch.
Shem Sov.
Sunday change the time.
Yeah, beyond that. Wonderful day, guys.
So what's going to be the schedule?